Are you a teacher and struggling to figure out how you are going to manage all of the things that come with your role? You might have heard of a tool called ClickUp, and you're wondering how it could help you manage all of the things. Where I'm here to tell you that yes, ClickUp can help you manage all of your tasks as a teacher, and it's much easier to get started with ClickUp than you might think. Hi, my name is Monica, and welcome back to my channel. I'm a former high school teacher, college professor, and higher ed administrator. I now run operations for an online education startup. In this video, I'll teach you how to get started in ClickUp in a simple and practical way by sharing an overview of ClickUp, including how to create your ClickUp account, reviewing the ClickUp interface, and demonstrating how to adjust ClickUp notifications so they suit your workflows and don't annoy you. Let's get started. Let's start off by talking about how to get started with ClickUp. If you haven't signed up for ClickUp, meaning you haven't created your account yet, you'll want to sign up, and that's what you need to do first. If you've already signed up and you have a ClickUp account, you can skip to the next chapter, and I have chapter links below this video. So first of all, if you haven't signed up, I do have an affiliate link that you can use if you'd like to help sign up and help support my channel. I have the link showing on the screen right now. No worries if you don't want to use that affiliate link, you can simply go to clickup.com. But you'll see at the top of my screen right now, the screen that's demonstrated for you just shows what the sign up screen looks like. And that affiliate link at the bottom of the screen just helps support the channel. So thank you for your consideration with that. So once you've signed up for ClickUp, then you'll want to download ClickUp because once you have your account, you need to download it. So there's one of the great things about ClickUp is that you can use it on all of your apps, meaning all of your tools. You can use it on your phone, you can use it on your laptop, your desktop computer, you can even use it on your Apple Watch. So ClickUp has a page that shows you all of the download options, and I'll include the download link below this video as well. So there are mobile options and there are desktop options. I want to point out that I'm walking through on the desktop today, and actually specifically I'm using the web version of the client as opposed to the app. And that's just because it's easier for me to demo when I record the video. But most of the time I spend the vast majority of my time in the ClickUp app, but the app and the web clients, what you see in the website, are very similar. So in order to get started, that first step is if you don't have an account, you'll create an account. If you already have an account, you'll just want to sign in and make sure you've downloaded ClickUp or you use it on the web version if you want to follow along with me, which is something I always recommend with all of the videos. So that's how to first get started with ClickUp. In the first part of this video, we talked about how it's important to have your ClickUp account ready, and you've either downloaded ClickUp or you've decided to use it on the web. And again, I'm using it on the web today, although it looks very similar to the app as I mentioned previously. So when you've opened ClickUp for the very first time, or the second time, because if you were anything like me, you might have started using ClickUp or at least downloaded it and installed it. And then when you opened it for the first time, it might have seemed a little bit overwhelming. It did for me. I poked around a little bit, decided I didn't really know what I was doing, and I think it was maybe 6 months before I started using ClickUp again. And then I found myself using it every day as I do now. So I want to make this kind of maybe re-entry for you. If you've tried ClickUp before, a smoother re-entry, or if it's the very first time, then the smooth introduction that I wish I had had. So ClickUp looks really empty when you first open it for the first time. You'll see a mention to something called favorites, and if you hover on top of it, you'll see a choice to show or to hide it. You'll also see a choice to pin favorites. Notice when you pin things, they go up like this at the top of your toolbar. You can just go ahead and click that pin again to unpin it. And you'll see that there are a lot of different menus. There's this concept of everything, and then a space, and then something within a space, folders, lists, or docs. So the first thing I want to get out of the way is you can't really break things in ClickUp. So if you find you have deleted something, you can restore it from your trash can. If you have questions, the ClickUp support team really is great. They have an option where you can ask questions. You'll notice there's a little question mark in the lower left-hand corner. I always like to help point out the support immediately because that's what I typically need quickly. So if you click that little question mark, you'll see you have choices to contact support. Most of the time I end up doing a chat that turns into an email because you can scroll down and you'll see there's choices for contacting them. And I do like doing that. You can connect with support, and then you'll see this chat box open up and you can ask questions. If someone happens to be online at the moment, they will help you, or they'll just help you over email. And I found that the support is quite quick. It's fast, so you don't have to worry about that. So we've gotten a couple things out of the way. One, this is what ClickUp looks like, and it's supposed to look like when you start it for the first time. It's empty, and that's okay. And the second thing is how to get a hold of support if you need it. So I wanted to spend just a little bit of time talking about what's known as the hierarchy in ClickUp, because hierarchy is something that some apps don't spend a lot of time with, and it's okay if you don't really understand how it works. In ClickUp, it's critical for you to understand how the hierarchy works. And when I say hierarchy, I mean how all of these different areas work together. And the main reason for that is because if you think you're seeing something that you shouldn't be seeing, meaning you set up a filter or a view, and this is jumping ahead, but we'll get there in future videos, and you think you see something you shouldn't see, or if you don't see something that you think you should be seeing, most of the time that has to do with where you have clicked, meaning what level you have clicked in the hierarchy. So the tippy top of your area in ClickUp is everything. Everything is like it sounds. It shows you everything you have built out in your space. I use ClickUp with my team, and we have many areas and spaces and folders inside of ClickUp. I also use it independently and with my research partner, and we also have many areas and spaces. And depending on where I go within that hierarchy, in other words, where I click, that's going to impact what I see. So I want you to remember that the everything level is the top, and when you go to everything, provided you don't have a filter turn on, you should see everything that you want to see. Then as you drill down and go further down the hierarchy, so think about this as a funnel. If you think about it as a funnel, and the tippy top of the funnel, so the wide part of the funnel is the everything space at the top. As you get more focused to the area you're going to look at, you see less information. You see the information associated with that space or that list or that folder within the space. So by default, you have an everything layer. You have one space, and it's just called space, but you can call it something else if you'd like. I'm not going to drill down too much into what you can do with changes in this video because it's meant to be an overview, but in future videos, I'll show you exactly how to set up your space, particularly if you're wanting to set up a space as a teacher or a student or even an academic administrator. So we have the everything level and we have the space level. If I click on the space level, you'll see there's choices to create a folder or list. So I'm just going to make a basic list to start you off. So I'll just call this sample list and create list. And you'll see now I have this sample list, and you'll see all these menus that pop up in ClickUp. And that's one of the things that I think can be overwhelming and can make it difficult to figure out, well, where do I start? Like, what does this mean? So when you see this menu pop up, this dialog area, I want to point out that this is just referring to the statuses. So if you think about it from any other task management system you might have used, there are different statuses that refer to how your task is at the current time. So whether the task has not started, it's in progress, maybe it's waiting for review, or if it's complete or archived. The statuses are a concept in ClickUp that are extremely important because you can do a lot of things with statuses. You can set views based on statuses, so you see things that are in progress versus things that are waiting. You can also set automations, which is something that sounds super complicated, and honestly, it scared me a bit when I first got it started with ClickUp, but it's not really that challenging. But statuses can help kick off automations. So there's lots of cool things you can do with statuses. What I want you to know here, though, is that when it comes to statuses, you can choose to either start from scratch, meaning just use statuses that are associated with this list. Or you could say, I want my statuses to be the same statuses I have on my space level. Now, you might think, well, I didn't do anything with statuses yet, so how am I going to know what they are? Don't worry. What I would suggest you do is simply choose to inherit the statuses from the space, and then I'll show you how to take a look at the statuses at the space level. So you'd click apply here. And the reason I suggest this is when you're first getting started with ClickUp and you have one space and you'll probably start making some lists within that space. It's simpler, in my opinion, to have one consistent set of statuses, like in progress, to do, completed, review, that sort of thing, instead of having different statuses on every single list, because then you might find, well, why am I not seeing consistent statuses if I go to the everything level? Some things aren't showing. It's really simpler if you just go ahead and click that apply like I did and inherit your statuses from the space level. Now, the way you take a look at your statuses from the space level is you just click space. You can click this 3-dot menu, and you'll see there are options for all kinds of things here. So if you go to more settings, you'll see task statuses and space settings. So let's go to task statuses. So the statuses that are happening right now, notice there aren't a lot of statuses because there isn't anything set up, but we can set up one list of statuses to get us started. So under custom, I'm going to actually choose new template, and the template here is just going to be demo statuses. And then I'm going to make sure I click on demo statuses. And the different statuses I'm going to add here: to do, and let's see, I'll have, in progress. And I already have a complete, and that's simple enough for now. Now, demo statuses, notice it's not showing those statuses because that's something that I found I got a little confused about the first time I did it. So if you click this pencil, you can change the name if you'd like, but then I'm going to go ahead and make sure I have to do, and we may have to end up adding this again. Let's see, to do, and in progress, and complete. Now let me do save template. And I'm just going to double check that these are showing here. They are. So I just had to choose save template. And now for my demo statuses type of status list, I have to do, in progress, and complete. Now notice there's another area called done status. You could have other statuses like archived that also means done, but it's not closed. And done, if you hover on top of these little question marks, it gives you more information about what those mean when it comes to ClickUp. But for right now, I've just made my demo statuses for this particular space, and I'm clicking save. And it'll take a moment for it to save. And now what you'll see is that if I go back to my space list, if I want to double check that I'm using that status list, I can click the three-dot menu, go down to list settings. When I click list settings, I'll see list statuses. And you see, I'm not seeing it right now applied. So I'm going to go ahead and click demo statuses and save. So that way I know I have my demo statuses applied to this particular list. Now, if I bring up the status column, because you'll see by default, ClickUp lists don't include status, which I wish it would, but we'll talk in future videos about how you can make a template to do that for you. I'll click plus, and I'm going to bring up the status column. Now notice I don't see it if I type it here. That's because I have to go over to show hide, because it's an existing field for ClickUp, and choose status. And then now I have the status field, and if I click there, and I'm just going to put a sample task, you'll see that I have to do, in progress, and complete. And those are the statuses that were set up when I went through and made my particular space statuses, which you'll see are called space now, and it's the demo statuses. So they're the same. Sometimes you'll see that something you just created in ClickUp, like a new status list, doesn't show just yet. The shortcut you're going to want to remember, if you're on a Mac, Command R. I will double check and put into the show notes what it is for refreshing for PC Windows, but it's definitely Command R. And if you just hit Command R on your keyboard, you'll see it go ahead and refresh for you. And that is something that will solve 9 times out of 10 any kind of issue you're having with ClickUp. So we've talked about the everything level. We've talked about a space and a sample list. The one thing I want to cover next before we switch into notifications and close out this video is that you can also create folders. So let's say in this space, I would like to have a folder that's going to hold some projects. So I'm going to call this project 1. And I'm not going to share anything here or change anything here. I'll just click create folder. And now I can take this sample list that I just worked on and I can drag it inside of the project. And again, sometimes if it looks like it's not moving, sometimes I have issues with the web client, you can also click the 3-dot menu and you can choose move, and I can put it into the project and move it. Now, if I click the little folder to close it, notice that list 1 or the regular list that it came with is there too. I don't need it, so I'm just going to click the 3-dot menu and delete it. So now I have my sample list and I put it in a folder called project 1. And why you might think this could be useful or why you might want to use this. Maybe you have a number of different major projects that are associated with project 1. Each project could get its own list. And then when you go to the project level, you will see everything from all the lists you put into this folder here. So thinking about in the academic setting where you might have multiple departments working on a particular project and each department takes perhaps a different area, like someone's working on the curriculum. Maybe it's a new program you're starting. Someone's working on the accreditation issues related to starting the new program. Someone's working on the marketing. So each one of those lists could be for different departments. But then if you click that top level project, you'll be able to see where you are with all of your projects in one particular area, which I think is really where ClickUp shines. So just a quick recap, we've talked about every ClickUp space has an everything level. This shows you everything within your space. The next level down, if we think about that funnel image I showed you earlier, is the space level. You can have multiple spaces, and the way you create multiple spaces is to simply add a space. Within spaces, you can have folders, which could contain things like projects, and you can have lists. And lists can go inside of folders, or they can just maintain inside of the space and you don't have to put them in a folder. So in the next part of this video, we're going to talk about notifications in ClickUp, because notifications are something that are really going to annoy you if you don't go in and set your settings pretty quickly on. So we'll continue in just a moment. Are you using ClickUp to help plan as a teacher, academic administrator, or student? Let me know how it's going for you, or if you have any ClickUp questions I can help you with by posting in the comments below this video. Let's talk notifications. ClickUp has a lot of ways for you to be notified. And one of the first things I discovered when I started using ClickUp that first time, and I closed it out, as I mentioned earlier, I had made a few tasks and set a few due dates, and all of a sudden, I felt like I was getting notifications and emails and pings and beeps all over the place, and it was driving me nuts. So I want to show you the area that's going to become super valuable for you, and that is how to adjust notifications. So in the lower left-hand corner of your screen in ClickUp, you'll see where you have the little circles that could be logos or avatars. I have one that's just my avatar, so I can distinguish between my workspaces. If you click on that, you'll see a choice for notifications. And this is one of the most comprehensive notification dashboards I've seen in any app. You might want to get your favorite beverage, turn on some music, and set aside 10 to 15 minutes to look at these notifications. I kid you not, but once you do it once, it's done. Until you find that perhaps there's a notification that you should have turned on, but you turned it off because you were a little bit too liberal with clicking no or turning off the check for all your notifications, which happened to me too. So what I want to point out is there are a couple columns to pay attention to. So first of all, I skipped past this first. This is getting into the weeds a bit about terminology with ClickUp that we'll talk about in future videos. But I want to point out to you that there are a couple columns you need to pay attention to. So email. This means you'll get an email notification. So whatever you have as your email address on file for ClickUp, you will get emails if there is a check mark in this column. Mobile means if you have the mobile app installed, and that includes iPad and iOS and other devices as well, you will get a notification, but you can choose whether or not you want a sound to be played for that notification. Now, all of this tends to work well if you choose other ways of setting up how notifications come on your phone, like I use focus modes in iOS on Apple devices, that will override these noises. So if I have these turned on, but I have focus mode on, for example, I have a focus mode called No One Knows But I'm Focusing, and that pretty much stops all beeps and all noises and any kind of pings that I would get from apps, and it really helps me focus. That would override this. So just keep that in mind if you're finding that you're not getting notified and you think you should be. You might have focus mode or something similar turned on your device. The third column, web in-app, refers to how I am on the web app of ClickUp right now, so notifications about that, and browser. So there's different ways, and actually, I'm sorry, web in-app refers to if you've downloaded the app itself, and browser is if you're in the browser. So you can just scroll down and check out all of these different notifications, and check means you're going to get it. If it's unchecked, you're not going to get it. Now, this is my demo space, so it has the default settings turned on. In my typical everyday space, I have almost all of these turned off. The only notifications I stay or I keep on are those that are referring to comment assigned to me, and those referring to new tasks if I'm a watcher on them or if I'm someone being assigned to it. So these are just all different notifications. I highly suggest you go through and check them out. Now, once you've adjusted your notifications, so this is the last tip for this particular video, I want to point out where you can easily see if you have notifications that apply to you. So in addition to having those emails, the app notifications, all sorts of things, there's also something that you're going to become super familiar with in ClickUp, the notification area, which is the little bell icon. When you click that, you will have notifications showing up here as you are tagged on things. If you are working with others and they comment or assign something to you, you will see it show up here. If you're working by yourself with ClickUp, you will see less things in here unless, for example, you set a due date and the due date is coming up and there's a notification and that sort of thing. So that's just something to keep in mind. Now, if you got here and you're like, where did my tasks go? All you have to do is click this little check mark and it'll take you back to your tasks. So as a quick summary, in this video today, we talked about how to sign up for ClickUp. And don't forget, if you would like to use my affiliate link, you are welcome to do so. It's the bottom in the comments below this video. You can also just go to clickup.com to sign up. We talked about what ClickUp looks like when you first open it for the very first time, or if you're coming back to it and you haven't really used it yet. And we talked about how to adjust your notification settings. So I hope you found this ClickUp overview video to be helpful, and I'm looking forward to sharing videos in the future that talk more about it. Are you interested in receiving my best productivity tips for teachers, academic administrators, and students? Then you'll want to sign up for my monthly email newsletter. It's action-oriented, and I only share resources and tips that have worked for me. I've included the link to sign up in the show notes below this video. If you like this video, please let me know by subscribing to my channel, giving this video a like, and leave a comment down below to share questions you have about using ClickUp. I'll see you in the next video.